Hi, oh, welcome to this particular video. We have on our panel as Archana Jain. She's from IIM K. She's a ex-ZS. Okay, just can anyone confirm if you are able to hear my voice clearly? Archana, can you confirm once?
Uh,
Two sounds are
yes,
coming.
Dev, I'm able to hear you, but your voice is echoing.
Yeah. I hope it should be fine now.
Yeah.
All right. So welcome to this particular video. In this particular video, we would be having a live mock PI with the Vinayaka. He has scored 100 plus raw score, and it would be definitely 99 plus percentile in any case. And on panel, we have Archana Jain. She is from IIM K. She has work ex in ZS Consulting, and now she is PPO'd in Accenture Strategy and Consulting. So I would request Archana if she can start with a PI.
Sure, sure. So hi Vinayak, please tell me something about yourself.
Good evening, ma'am. My name is Vinayaka Nagareddy, and I am from Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh. I have done my class 10 from DAV Public School, Visakhapatnam, where I served as the head boy of the school. I was also part of the sports team, which represented our school in the South Zone or in, like athletics championships. Also, I was winner of multiple quiz competitions across inter-school competitions, and also I secured 10 pointer in my class 10, and I came to class 12 in Sri Venkateswara Junior College, where I secured 92.4 percentage. And upon securing a good rank in JEE mains, I did my BTech in NIT Agartala in Electronics and Communication Engineering, where I also served as the placement coordinator for my branch. And despite the recession season, we secured 100% placements, and I passed out with a CGPA of 8.52. And during my college placements, I got placed into MDOCS, which is a IT company, and where I worked as a software developer. And my role was to work with the onboarding team, where I had to onboard customers and new customers to this services. So during this time, I got exposed to the various customer centric issues which they face, and I had to interact with multiple product managers and product owners and dwell upon how the customers uh, require their things to be, and accordingly develop the products. So this is when I got a knack of this field and started showing more interest into it, and upon my learnings from here, started building my personal projects as well, and learned many things out of failures from these projects. And also, currently I'm looking to switch into product management, and for which I believe I need to learn stakeholder management and business acumen apart from my technical knowledge which I have learned. So I think this is the right time switch, and MBA will be the right opportunity. And my hobbies, coming to my hobbies, I cook, I play sports like cricket and volleyball, and I do listen to podcasts on geopolitics, spirituality, and kinds. Yeah, that's about me.
Oh, got it, got it. Thank you, Vinayak. So tell me, so you mentioned that you are right now an engineer and working in a company where you have already had the chance to get to talk to the customers, understand their problems, and accordingly, basically tally their products, whatever you have. So basically,
Yeah,
what products does the company that you work in sell to the customers?
it provides telecom services to various clients. And if I have to take an example and explain, one of the biggest customer we had was the US government contract, where the US government was fighting against the big private players for in the telecom services. And this was a time when the customers were usually lacking trust in the government agencies and were actually preferring the private entities. So we had to work on what the customers needed and act accordingly. We have introduced the new feature of encryption, actually, which actually led to shift in the customer base from the private players to the US government, like telecom services, up to 12%. This shift was like the largest shift possible with a single feature till date. So this was one case where we had to act upon the customer's needs.
Okay, thanks. Got it. And so tell me, Vinayak, why do you want to do an MBA?
So ideally, I want to transition into product management from my software developer role, and I believe I am like decently skilled in technical knowledge, but I need to learn business acumen and stakeholder management. Also, grab good opportunities, for which I believe doing an MBA in the best B school possible is the right fit for me.
Okay, got it. Um, okay, so I don't know if you're aware, Vinayak, but due to AI right now, a lot of companies are not hiring a lot of product managers. Are you aware of that situation? Because
Yes,
even Microsoft has recently fired a lot of product managers due to AI.
yes,
So,
ma'am.
my for this, there are two questions. One, what if you do not get an opportunity in an MBA college to transition to product management? Okay, and second, what's your take on this? How do you plan to basically tailor your preparation to understand AI and how it can affect this field and how you can pitch better to the recruiters?
Sure, ma'am. Firstly, I will switch the questions. I will start with the second question and then come to the first question, how I would do it. So ideally, if we are speaking of the current layoffs season and everything, the product managers who are being like laid off or being switched from the roles are the traditional product managers, not the new age product managers who are dependent on AI or who are actually using AI for their skills. So ideally, yes, the number of traditional product managers would reduce, but there is a new role being here, which is creating a market gap here, which is the AI product managers. AI product managers are currently in a huge demand, and especially a product manager who has good knowledge on AI tools and knows how to use them actually has a great edge over the traditional product managers, which is why we are currently seeing this particular market shifts. And in this field, market shifts are quite naturally happening, so it's not something very surprising, which is bound to happen some point. So we need to be prepared in advance to be to various things that might happen going in the line. And coming to my case, the various products I have developed are AI based products. So already I have started using AI tools. So technically, I wouldn't say I'm like a traditional product manager, because I have already understood, and I'm lucky to be in this current day where AI is taking edge over everything. And so in this aspect, I don't think I will really face much problem. But coming to placements in the campus, yes, I do realize that there is a reduction in the number of placements in this product management sector. But yes, I would work hard on it. And if at all I'm not able to transition into product management through MBA, like if that is the case, then I do have a backup option of strategy consulting, but product management is my main goal and objective.
Okay, okay, thank you. So you're currently working as a developer in your organization. Can you give me an example where you were able to leverage AI to solve customers' problems
In current role, or you mean in today's day and age?
in your current role?
I would give a example in which I had to develop a product. The product basically was meant for users who want to plan trips all of a sudden using AI. So what they do is they enter their requirement according to how, if so, for example, let us assume we are out there for a meeting in Delhi, and the meeting got completed quickly, and we have an extra day or two as per our schedule. So we are not sure what to do in these cases. What we do is use my tool, where we just enter like how many days we are available and how much batch size we have and our requirements, and accordingly this product plans our trip plan for this 2 days or whatever the number of days we enter, and accordingly we can also adjust the budget constraints, we can also adjust the requirements we have. So this is a product like built entirely based on AI. So this is one example where I have used AI to leverage on the customer's requirement.
Okay, okay. Vinay, can you mention two of your strengths and two of your weaknesses?
Ma'am, strengths, one I would say is problem solving and user empathy. Understanding customer side of things, understanding what they require, and acting accordingly is something I have like already always had an edge over the rest, and also getting to work on in this field for quite some time. Like I have worked for 18 months on this, so I have a decent understanding of what the customer needs and acting accordingly on to that. So this would be one advantage I have. Other strength would be responsibility. I usually stand up for and to take up the responsibility on myself. If I had to take the example of me being the head boy in my school, or me being the placement coordinator in my college, or me guiding our juniors during their incoming, so these kinds of things, I usually take up the responsibility on my shoulder, even when not asked, because this is something I take pride in. I like this thing of guiding people or helping others. This is something I'm good with. Coming to my weakness, one I would definitely say is my confidence, which we can call slightly overconfident. Because if I have to like give an example, the example just I gave, that tri planner, that was the trip planner actually. So I named it as tri planner and launched this product. And when I pitched this product, the first question I got was, who was your team? Who all are working on this? And it was basically me. So I didn't have an answer there. So the first question they asked was like, what if you're sick for 2 days? Like, what would be the backup plan? And me being confident, I never had a backup plan ready in my mind, which actually made me realize that sometimes it's necessary to curb my instincts and think practically of alternatives as well. So I'm really working on it since that in that product issue, and since then I have been quite improving on it. But still, I would say I have a lot to improve. Another weakness of mine, it might sound cliche as like making strength as a weakness or some kind of thing, but it is actually my weakness, like perfection slash time management, I would say, wherein like I'm trying to attain perfection even when it's not necessary. So it leads to extra time efforts. For example, a product on which I worked on, basically the iteration period provided to it was 7 days. So like 6 days a week. So ideally, my working hours for 5 days was supposed to be 45 hours, and that was my iteration time. But since I wanted to achieve this perfection, and I had this in my mind that I wanted it to be perfect, even when it's not that required here, actually, because this is just a prototype. We need to launch a prototype to the user in 7 days. I had this time constraint. So what I did was, even in the prototype where perfection was actually not required, I went about attaining perfection, and instead of working for this 45 hours, I like close to worked on 70 hours a week, I would say. This is something I have to really work on myself, especially when it comes to time management, because not every time I have this luxury of extra time. So yeah, I do realize this weakness and I am working on it.
Okay, great. Thanks, Vinay. So you mentioned that you are from Visakhapatnam, right?
Sorry, ma'am, your
How is
voice is
it? Tell me
breaking a bit.
something about your place. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
You mentioned you're from Visakhapatnam, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What does what mention some like two, three things which differentiate your city
Firstly,
apart from the others.
yeah, sure. Firstly, Visakhapatnam is like a major tourist spot, and the reason it is so popular for tourism is because it is right between the in completely developed stage and also the unexplored stage, in I would say, because Visakhapatnam is like the financial capital of Andhra Pradesh, like how Mumbai is for India. Similarly, Visakhapatnam is for Andhra Pradesh, the economic capital. So like infrastructure wise it is well developed, but also like since the Andhra Pradesh was as a state like bifurcated in 2014, but till then Hyderabad used to be the capital. So majority of the developmental activities majorly used to happen in and around Hyderabad. So Vishakhapatnam remained as an untapped potential for a longer time. And since bifurcation, it was actually more focused on Amaravati, the current capital of Andhra Pradesh, with decent development is still there, but it was not like over exploitation. So I would say it is right between those two. So Vishakhapatnam is perfect tourism spot, I would say. And if we have to speak of tourism, the first thing which comes to mind around Vishakhapatnam would be the Argu Valley in the Eastern Ghats. It's right next to the Borra Caves. And Argu Valley is famous for its tribal tree, like coffee plantations. I have recently been there, and like the memories are still fresh. So I would say this is one like major spot of a visit. Another thing would be the beaches and also the submarine museum. Vizag has a history of the natural port being it, and it is the head of the Eastern Naval Command. So this port is actually has one submarine museum which has history in itself. The current submarine which we are speaking of, it is called INS Kursuma, and this submarine was used in the 1971 Indo-Pak War. It is a diesel electric based engine developed with a Russian technology, and since that usage in 1971, it has been kept in the submarine museum in Vizag, which is a great place of visit as well, which adds history. So these two, I would say, are two major things. Like I would say, one must visit kind of things in Vishakhapatnam.
Dave, you can go ahead.
Sure. Thank you, Archana. So, Vinayak, tell me that you have discussed about certain job profiles that you are interested in, but definitely those are not domains that you would study in your MBA, right? These are not any domains. Like Prodman is not a domain in itself, or consulting is not a domain in itself. It is definitely a job profile you can work in by
Yes.
the virtue of certain domains. So, is there any domain that you have decided upon, or any inclination towards a particular domain you are interested in?
Particularly would be IT and analytics is a domain which leads into product management.
Hmm.
So IT and analytics is one domain which I'm majorly interested in. Also strategy
Hmm.
planning is another domain which I'm eagerly looking forward to.
But have you researched that like top colleges in India like ABC, LKI, like are they offering these domains as such?
I have done a decent research on it, and coming to I have to take one example.
Hmm.
IIM Bangalore is
Hmm.
one such college where product management is actually a domain here.
Okay.
IT analytics slash product management is actually a domain in IIM Bangalore.
Okay. ठीक है. Perfect. All right. So let me ask you some questions basis on economics, because like
Sure,
if you have to enter a B school, you should have baseline knowledge of certain things, right? So,
sure.
so can you tell me, if you want to analyze the health of a country, what would be the key parameters you would look?
If I have to look at the health, like one parameter would be the obvious one, which is a health index. But if I have to analyze in sub parameters, I would look at the mortality rate,
Hmm.
which is like other than mortality rate, I would say like the gender ratio, how it is also something important considering health benefits.
Hmm.
Also, if I have to look into it,
Okay, if I
around
have to twist this question a bit, let me add one more word to this question. If we don't want to discuss about the health of the country, if we want to see the financial health of a company, then how would you do it?
financial health of our country,
Yes. What would be the key parameters you would look upon?
one obvious thing would be the repo rate. One would
So
be
how
like,
would a okay, okay, you go ahead, then I'll ask. Okay,
yeah, sure.
fine.
So one would be the repo rate. I would
Okay,
also look at GDP and growth rate, and
okay,
also the country's ranking on the ease of doing business index.
okay.
So these are some of the parameters I would say
Hmm.
which I would dwell upon if I have to measure the financial growth of a country.
All right. You mentioned repo rate. I'm very much interested to know that given the repo rate of a company, how will you judge the financial health of a company?
country or company?
Country, yes.
Country, okay.
Yes.
So as we know, like repo rate basically means that like the central bank for India, example, it's the Reserve Bank of India. It provides a certain interest, money at certain interest to the banks, central banks, and those banks in turn have to pay the interest to the Reserve Bank, and this amount they actually lend it to the generic customers and users at a
Right.
certain different interest, and this difference in the interest ratio is what the banks take advantage of. And this repo rate, if the repo rate is higher, what happens is the number of people who take loans will reduce drastically. And
Okay.
similarly, if the repo rate decreases, so the interest rate also decreases on loans, because of which there are multiple people taking loans and stuff. So what happens with this is like how many users are taking loans or how many users are actually spending their money on. So this actually contributes to the money movement,
All right.
thereby
All right.
thereby contributing to the financial growth.
All right. And how will you relate repo rate to the inflation of a country?
I'm not particularly sure about how I would draw parallels
Okay.
between these two.
So when we talk about repo rate, you would have also heard about reverse repo rate. How does that work?
I'm not fully sure of it.
Okay. Oh, you also mentioned a KPI GDP.
Yeah,
Can you tell me what are the types of GDP that we take into picture?
types of GDP, like
Have you heard
and
of real GDP and nominal GDP?
nominal GDP I've heard of, but I don't know the actual
So the
difference between those
exact
two.
meaning, exact difference.
Yeah,
Okay. You also mentioned RBI. Who is the current governor of RBI?
current govern. I'm sure I'm not able to recollect
Take
it
off.
currently.
No worries. ठीक है. No worries, yeah, no worries. So you mentioned that you would want to either go into Prodman or you would either want to go into strategy consulting. So I would just give you a guesstimate sort of a thing. I don't want you to crunch in numbers. ठीक
Sure.
है? Don't work upon numbers. I'm telling you straight. You just give me the structure. That
Okay.
the problem that I'm giving to you, how will you deal with that problem? Right.
Sure.
So if I ask you that what would be the monthly revenue of Subway in Delhi NCR?
Subway,
Like
as in the
Subway,
Subway chain
yes,
chain of restaurants, right?
yes, that chain of restaurants.
Okay. In
The
Delhi.
OG Subway I'm talking about.
Okay.
In Delhi NCR. So now you would say that I don't know what is the population of Delhi, etc., etc. I am not asking you to crunch in numbers. I
Yeah.
just want to know the flow that how will you approach this particular problem.
Yeah. Got you, sir.
Hmm.
So ideally, what I would do is firstly, like understand the demograph of Delhi and the user base of Subway. So initially,
Okay.
what I would see is how many chains are actually the restaurant chains are actually open in and around Delhi.
Hmm.
So according to that count, I would say like also like categorize on how many restaurant chains are in the urban areas and like how many are accessible to the rural areas. I don't think there will be many Subway chains actually in the rural areas. So I would say how many are accessible to rural areas,
Hmm.
and accordingly I would make a guesstimate in such a way that I would draw parallels between a family.
Hmm.
Like according to population, I would divide it by four and considering a family size of four,
Hmm.
and accordingly I would suggest like an urban population, usually a family orders 2 to 3 times a week, whereas a rural population orders maybe once in 2 weeks or easy count twice in month to make easy count.
Hmm.
So I would draw a demography like this. Also, if I have to draw a parallelly another demography, it would be the age wise population.
Hmm.
One thing would be that the teenagers, especially the ones around 9 to 15, this is the biggest like age domain who would actually like have multiple orders on these products, whereas and gradually as the age increases, and again I would say somewhere around 30 plus, since there onwards there would be a gradual decrease. The
Okay.
number till 30 will still be high considering many people are not cooking these days and
Hmm.
many people opt for easy meals.
Hmm.
So Subway is still an option for many, But after 30, I would say many people actually reduce the number of orders. So from there on, I would count lesser order. So from for these people, this age domain, wherein I'm counting 9 to 15 and 15 to 30, I would say 9 to 15 are ordering thrice a week, 15 to 30 are ordering twice a week, and
You are
30,
mentioning age, 9 to 15, 9 to 15, you are saying age.
yeah, age.
Okay.
And
Okay.
ordering, it doesn't mean like 9 to 15 are actually ordering it, like the
That
parents are
that is
ordering it
what
for
I was
them.
surprised at, how a 9-year-old would be ordering for.
I
ठीक
mean,
है,
the
ठीक है.
parents are ordering it for them in the such a way.
Yeah, understood. ठीक है.
So I would count it this way, like 9 to 15 age group are consuming it thrice a week. The
Hmm.
15-30 group are consuming it twice a week, and 30 plus they're consuming it 30 to 50. I would say they're consuming it maybe twice in a month or once in 2 weeks.
Hmm.
In such a way, I would make a guesstimate and accordingly then add in the chip in the numbers.
All right. So you said that I will divide the number of, or the X number of population by 4, because you were coming around the family figure, right? Ki
Number
average
of
size
family.
of a family. But
Yeah,
don't you think that Subway is something that is consumed individually? It is very rare that anyone would order Subway for family. I would say ki there is one Subway that would be distributed in whole family. I think if we order pizza or anything of that sort, then it makes sense that
yeah.
ordering of one pizza can be ideally distributed into family. But Subway, by the nature of the SKU, is not usually distributed. So don't you
Yeah.
think that that particular step was not logically fit in the flow?
I kind of realized it midway through, and hence I
Oh,
switched its demograph from actually family and numbers to actual age groups.
right, right. Anything, Archana, you would like, you are a core person from consulting domain. Anything you would want to ask in this thing, the explanation that he gave?
Uh, See, I think you mentioned an approach, but I was not sure if you're taking a top-up or bottom-down approach.
Hmm.
Like when you solve a guesstimate, you should be clear about one flow of approach and basically think of it as a tree, okay? So
Hmm.
you should be able to lay down the steps for me so that when I'm hearing it, I can uh, go through it in my mind and
Hmm.
understand.
Yeah.
So I
Mental
think that
mapping was
was
missing.
yes, mental mapping
Hmm.
was missing. Like you were right, I think, with the points except for the family one
Hmm.
that they mentioned. You were
Hmm.
right about the parameters that you were take, but they were here and there. Like
Hmm.
they were not stacked up in a way.
Hmm.
Okay,
So that was one thing.
All
sure.
right. So, Vinayak, just tell me that again, I would come back to domains, because the domains that you discussed, I still find them very niche, right? It is like doing culinary arts in BTech. So, though it is coming into picture nowadays, but if I ask you to choose any one domain from the 4 domains, the core MBA domains, finance, HR, sales and marketing, operations, have you decided upon any of these? Because obviously, chalo, if you get IIM Bangalore, nothing like it, you do whatever you feel like doing, you take those domains. But if not, then what?
Yeah, I have given it a thought as well. And
Hmm.
if I have to speak of these 4 domains, major
Hmm.
domains,
Hmm.
like whatever domains I have discussed, they are almost aligned with the domain of operations.
Operations.
Yeah, supply chain management and operations when we discuss
Huh.
in like more like a general subject, and when it gets to specifics, there are this business analyst and IT analysts.
But to the best of my knowledge, what I was aware of is that the product managers are usually from, well, I might be wrong, but like Archana can correct me, but I felt that those people are mostly from sales and marketing domain, because you need to understand customers a lot, because like you are the bridging gap between the technical team and between the customers. A product manager has to define the product for the customers and get the work done by the team, right? So to the best of my knowledge, a product manager should come out from a sales and marketing domain to justify the job. Like obviously there could
Okay.
be exceptions to everything, but this is what I personally have seen. The
Okay.
companies that you mentioned, Microsoft, etc., or I guess Archana mentioned, like I have seen product managers, I have been in touch with them, but most of them are from sales and marketing majors or domain in that
Okay.
sense. And in strategy consulting, what I would say that it eventually encompasses everything. You should
Yeah.
have basic financial knowledge also. Financial modeling and everything is required. Then strategizing is very much required. So you need a basic idea of sales and marketing also. So in that sense, so I think that you should like go deep dive. If you are really interested into product management, then I think you should go to the depth and understand what actually this roles require. Obviously it is a role that is talk of the town nowadays, but like if you want to genuinely do something good in that role, you should know the idea that
Yes, sir. Sure.
how you can
Definitely.
do justice.
Definitely, sir. And one thing I would say is like similar to what you have spoke of strategy and consulting,
Hmm.
product management also is on a similar lines. I would say
Okay.
it also encompasses marketing, it also encompasses finance, it also
Hmm.
encompasses operations.
Hmm.
Because ideally, a product manager has to take care of how his product is selling in the market. Also, he has to take care of how his product functions or how he has to pitch it to his developers, how he has to pitch it to his stakeholders. Also,
Hmm.
he has to make sure how it generates business, how it like runs business or generates profits. So
All right,
ideally,
chalo,
it
chalo
as well.
to product manager Vinayaka, just tell me one thing that you are a product manager in a new startup who is which is going to launch a platform like Swiggy,
Okay.
and they are initially starting with the metropolitan cities. So
Okay.
if you want to define revenue for your product, what would be the key figures that you will take into picture? And you can definitely take help from how Swiggy and Zomato like churn out their revenue. So how will you do that?
Sure, definitely. So ideally, if I have to start something like a Swiggy or Zomato, one thing I would definitely not be able to do is start in a large scale like what they already have, because everything
No,
they have to start.
see. Please understand my question. I'm not asking strategy. I am asking that if you want to drive revenue, what would be the key figures that you will take into picture to drive revenue? मतलब अब ऐसे बोलते हैं ना कि इफ यू आपको अगर निकालने हैं किसी क्लोथिंग बिजनेस में तो आपका कितना माल बिका, कितने का
Yeah,
माल था, ये सब चीजें आप मल्टीप्लाई मल्टीप्लाई करोगे तब आपका रेवेन्यू आ जाएगा. तो इस बिजनेस में आप जब प्रोडक्ट मैनेजर हो तो आप इसमें कैसे रेवेन्यू निकालोगे? दैट इज माय सिंपल क्वेश्चन.
yeah, sure, got you. So ideally, we would not experiment much here and stick to the
ओके.
basics as well.
ओके.
So
परफेक्ट.
what I would say is the food is the main product here, and our
द
customers who are food,
फूड. ओके. ओके.
yeah,
ओके.
food, whatever they're ordering, that's the main
राइट.
product here. And
राइट.
the customers who are ordering are are our user.
राइट.
So ideally, what we are doing is we are making this food reach to its customer. This is our
हम्म.
business model. So
हम्म.
here, similar to what Swiggy and Zomato does, we would
हम्म.
also make sure like this like a product is available to the consumer at best possible price and in the right ideal amount of time. So some small tweak which we can actually do, considering we are a startup, is we won't have as many number of delivery drivers as Swiggy or Zomato. So what we can actually do is reduce the delivery fees by a small extent and actually
No,
club
you are
orders.
again telling me the strategy. I just want to know the formula. आपको एक लाइन में मेरे को फॉर्मूला बताना है कि मैं इस चीज को मल्टीप्लाई करूंगा तो मेरी कंपनी का रेवेन्यू निकल जाएगा. आई एम नॉट आस्किंग द
Okay,
स्ट्रैटेजी.
just basic revenue, as in,
जस्ट
I,
बेसिक फॉर्मूला फॉर रेवेन्यू
yeah,
ऑफ
got
योर
you.
कंपनी.
Restaurant is there. Restaurant is selling a product. It sets a certain price. I add a certain amount of commission to it as platform charge as a
ओके.
delivery, and I deliver this product. So whatever charge I'm adding over this product is my revenue.
ठीक है, तो वो वॉट एवर चार्ज को अगर आप ब्रेक करोगे तो वो कैसे
Yeah,
करोगे?
sure. It would be platform charge. It would be the delivery charges. Apart from in the taxes go to the government, and apart from that, we also have like functioning charges, I would say. In order to get this from place A to B, sometimes
So no, let us try out a simple situation. See, I think so this business model is a bit complex. That is why there is a issue. We will assume that you are a owner of a small bakery.
okay,
This is very simple. Only one bakery, no franchisee, no other shops, just one single bakery. Now
Okay.
you want to give me, now you have to give me that what would be that multiplier that you would be using to churn out your revenue. Is that fine? Is this business simple?
Yeah,
Okay, perfect.
I'm getting raw products from the market. I'm like
Formula.
baking.
Formula. Are you not
Formula.
able to understand my question? Matlab, what
Maybe
is
I'm not perfectly aligned with your question because
okay? Chalo. So we'll change the question for you. We will change the direction of this interview completely. If I have to give you 10 words to define Vinayak, what would be those 10 words?
as in define me or okay,
Define you as a person.
okay. Enthusiast,
Okay,
problem solver, responsible,
right.
and something I would dwell upon myself would be I don't know like how I would put user empathy as a trait, but I would add this as well.
Okay.
User empathy or understanding my customer.
Or simply empathetic. You are empathetic.
Empathetic. Yeah,
Be it
empathetic.
to anyone, you are empathetic.
Yeah,
Fine. Good.
empathetic. This is one.
Right.
Diverse is another thing I would say.
Okay.
And focused is one more thing about me.
Hmm.
Focused.
Hmm.
Also, ability to communicate or tell a story around it.
Okay.
This is something I would say about me.
Hmm.
I'm not really getting 10 about me, but
How many you have told till now?
7.
Okay. If I ask you to remove any three from these, which three would be those?
I have to remove 3.
Yes. The lowest three priority words.
I would remove diversity from here because it's not really
ठीक
my
है चलो.
selling point.
हाँ, diversity then.
Then communication something I would remove from it
ठीक
because
है.
it
Storytelling
already
basically.
it already conveys when I say something.
Second.
I don't
ठीक
have
है.
to tell about it.
Okay. Third.
Third would be use empathy. I would remove.
Empathy you would remove. And
Yeah,
now if I ask you to choose any one word from these three words, that would be the deciding personality statement for Vinayak, which would be that particular word.
personality statement. Among these 3, right?
I mean these three that you removed.
Hmm, I would go with diverse.
Diverse. ठीक है. चलो perfect. I'm done from my side. Archana, if you want to end any remarks or any question, then please. Hello.
You're speaking on mute now.
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah, now you're audible.
Yeah, I think I'm good, Dave.
Chalo, cool. So we'll end this interview over here and we'll start with the feedback. Please, Archana, kindly share your feedback.
Yes, yes. So Vinayak, first of all, I think for general MBA questions, general HR questions that are asked in an MBA interview, you have prepared your answers quite in a detail. One thing I would say is in your tell me about yourself, you stretched a bit over your content, which is not really necessary. Stretch on your engineering part and work ex part, because these are the recent things that you've done in life. ठीक है उसके बाद you told hobbies में you just mentioned your 3-4 hobbies. If there
Yeah,
is one particular first, so if you are doing something professional in all of these sorts या फिर something you're playing regularly, then only mention these hobbies. Second, mention that also, like just don't end it with mentioning 3-4 hobbies straight up. इनमें से कोई एक हॉबी के बारे में बता दो कि आप इसमें कुछ ऐसा करते हो, right?
sure.
Okay. Second thing, when I asked you about your strengths and weaknesses, in strength you said user empathy. That's not your strength. That's a strength that you show in your workplace, right? So
Okay.
in general, also in your interview, I have seen that you yourself are tailoring your interview, everything into your work experience. We are trying to get to know you as a person. When we want to know about your work ex, the recruit, basically the panelist will specify your work ex. When I asked about your strengths and weaknesses, just mention your strengths and weaknesses as a person. Like maybe 10 words when we were talking about it, you mentioned user empathy and they've corrected it to empathetic because
Yeah,
user empathy is something you show in your workplace. Empathetic is something you show in your life in general, right?
daily. Yes.
Third is again, for guesstimates, if you're saying that you want to get into product management and strategy or IT and analytics, you should be able to basically break things down into small steps. So practicing guesstimates and even puzzles is important. So I would say that you should practice them like one or two every day.
Sure.
Fourth is in you are generally confident in your communication when it comes to work. Like you're able to explain what it is, but you're keeping it uh, very general. मतलब बहुत ही थोड़ा ऊपर ऊपर से बता रहे हो, ठीक है? थोड़ा सा स्पेसिफिक्स दो। जब मैंने आपसे जैसे एआई के लिए पूछा था, यू मीन प्रोडक्ट मैनेजमेंट के लिए कि व्हेन हाउ विल यू टैकल दिस सिचुएशन, कि अब एआई नहीं आ रहा, यू मेंशन मैं एआई टूल्स यूज करूंगा, आई यूज एआई टूल्स, आई पुट दिस इनटू डिप्लॉयमेंट, mention some of the AI tools. Like
Can
mention,
I
give
dwell
an
into
example
technical?
of a situation. Uh, you can just keep it short. The thing
Okay,
is that I don't want to hear that you will use AI tools. Of course, अगर AI market में है and I'm saying कि product manager के लिए क्या कर सकते हो तो वो AI ही use करेगा. बट आप कैसे यूज करोगे? एक छोटा सा एग्जाम्पल या एक दो टूल्स का नाम भी बोल दो तो दैट बूस्ट योर कॉन्फिडेंस, ठीक है,
sure.
इन दी पैनलिस्ट. Apart from that, I think you need to be very, very, very well versed with whatever you are speaking, क्योंकि क्रॉस क्वेश्चनिंग बहुत जल्दी होती है, राइट? तो आपको हर एक चीज के बारे में जो भी आप बोल रहे हो उसके बारे में आपको बैकग्राउंड नॉलेज होनी चाहिए, ठीक है? और जनरल जीके एंड ऑल अभी काफी वीक है, दैट you'll have to work upon.
Sure.
बाकी communication is good. I think you're able to defend yourself. That is good. You're not too defensive also. कि you're and think basically you are able to articulate the question कि question है तो अगर नहीं समझ में आ रहा है तो पूछ रहे हो, that is good. So as a starting point अभी these are good, ये आपके good factors हैं, but the things that I mentioned that you have to work upon, if you start giving these practice every day, I think you'll nail it.
Sure. Thank you.
That's it from my side, Dave.
Yeah,
You can go
sure.
ahead.
Right. So, firstly, what I personally felt is that you sounded a bit robotic to me. Reason being, there was no flow in your answers. It was looking like मैं pointer तो लाया हूँ and I will complete those pointers. Right, but there was no flow in your answer, especially in your HR answer. Like when your introduction was also being discussed, so I was not like able to understand the flow. It was looking my like that you were reading out CV pointers. जैसे CV बनता है ना कि मैंने पहले schooling लिख दिया, फिर कैट्स लिख दिया, वर्क लिख दिया, कॉलेज लिख दिया, वो मेरे को लग रहा था you were literally reading out your summarization of your CV, right? That is something we will definitely work upon. Like you, I know that you have enrolled with us, so this is something we will definitely work upon. But the point here is that when you attend those classes, no, now keep these things in mind,
Yeah.
right? And try to like build upon these things from now on, because you know कि ये चीजें हैं that I have to work around.
Yeah.
It is very good that you have work ex. It is very good that you have story. Like Archana also mentioned that you have a edge over the freshers because you have a lot of things that you have done recently to talk about. But
Yeah.
if you are not able to communicate it well, then there is no point in having no,
Having.
like if you are having a lot of arrows but you are not able to shoot any, so there is no point of you going to the war.
Yeah.
That is the only point here, right? And most of the point from HR answer is covered by Archana. The only point I want to add for you in any question is that if a question demands some time to think and structure your answer, please take that time.
Okay, sure.
And guesstimate is something you can't really listen to the question. Like, matlab, Archana, please correct me, but you have so much experiences this domain. But if I give you a situation of this sort, at least you would also take 30-40 seconds to at least structure your thinking, right? Obviously, the pointers Archana would speak and any other person would speak would be completely different. But उनको structure करने के लिए she would also take at least 30-40 seconds. And to be honest, the pointers that you gave were like almost correct. There were no wrong pointers in that. But अगर उसमें flow होता,
Yeah.
तो it would have looked a lot better. And मेरे को पता था कि as a new person in this guesstimate वाला thing, it would be hard for you to structure. So I gave you a hook also कि शायद आपको दिल्ली एनसीआर की पॉपुलेशन नहीं पता होगी. सो यू जस्ट गिव मी द स्ट्रक्चर. आई गेव यू कि आप पॉपुलेशन से शुरू कर सकते हो,
Okay.
राइट? भाई एज अर्चना मेंशन कि या तो आप टॉप टू बॉटम जाओ या बॉटम टू टॉप जाओ, आप बीच में शुरू नहीं कर सकते, राइट? तो या तो आप दिल्ली की पॉपुलेशन से शुरू करो, फिर उसको अर्बन रूरल में डिवाइड करो, फिर उसके बाद जो जो चीजें आपने फैक्टर इन करी वो करो, राइट? वो एक तरीका होता. या फिर आप नंबर ऑफ आउटलेट से शुरू करके ऊपर तक जाओ टू द पॉपुलेशन, बट वो बहुत मुश्किल होता है इसमें. तो वही है,
Yeah.
वो एनालिसिस आपको थोड़ा सीखना पड़ेगा, समझना पड़ेगा. नाउ सी, दिस इज समथिंग वी डिस्कस लास्ट टाइम ऑल्सो इन योर प्रीवियस इंटरव्यू कि दो यू वांट टू गो इनटू प्रॉडमैन, आइदर यू गिव अ वेरी सॉलिड रीजनिंग कि मैं तो इसलिए ही प्रॉडमैन में जाऊंगा, चाहे मेरे को एक दो अपॉर्चुनिटीज ही मिले मैं तब भी. सी प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड कि जैसे अगेन लाइक अर्चना मेंशन, हमको नहीं पता कि जिस साल आप प्लेसमेंट में बैठने वाले हो उस साल प्रॉडमैन के कितने रोल्स आएंगे, राइट? तो प्रैक्टिकली यू शुड साउंड रैशनल कि भाई मेरे मेरे को ये चीज या तो इसलिए जाना है क्योंकि वो 100% अलाइन करता है, राइट? और उसमें भी फिर आप ये बोल रहे हो, शायद आपको याद आ गया हो कि लास्ट टाइम फीडबैक में ये बोला था तो पकड़ ना ले, फिर आप ये बोलते हो कि चाहे मैं चला तो कहीं भी जाऊं मैं घुस जाऊंगा ब्रॉडबैंड में. दिस इज नाउ नॉट हाउ इंडस्ट्री वर्क्स. इफ यू आर वर्किंग इन अ सेक्टर, यू आर वर्किंग इन अ डोमेन, यू कांट स्विच. आर यू गेटिंग माई पॉइंट?
Yeah.
So now you should ideally think कि if you want to definitely go into Prodman, पहले तो उसके बारे में अच्छे से पढ़ो कि भाई what Prodman requires, what are the good roles in Prodman, what actually product managers do. If you know any, you talk to them that how their work looks like each and everything, right? Then when I ask you the question of revenue, so my question was very clear कि मेरे को आपसे एक फॉर्मूला जानना है बस. आई रिपीटेड दिस मल्टीपल टाइम्स. हो सकता है कि एक बार में ना समझ आयो, बट आई रिपीटेड दिस मल्टीपल टाइम कि मेरे को आपसे बस रेवेन्यू का फॉर्मूला जानना है. बट यू वर कॉन्स्टेंटली गिविंग मी स्ट्रैटेजी. एंड
Yeah.
इन एमबीए लिंगो वी कॉल इट आइदर ग्लोब और फैफ. सो वो उन दोनों में से कुछ था, राइट? तो आई पर्सनली वॉन्ट यू कि अगर आपको नहीं आ रहा है क्वेश्चन समझ, तो आप पहले ही पूछ लो कि सर इज दिस व्हाट यू आर डिमांडिंग बाय दिस क्वेश्चन, और एम आई नॉट एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड द क्वेश्चन करेक्टली. लाइक डायरेक्शन या तो आप पहले ही पूछ लो क्लियरली, या
Okay.
फिर आप शुरू हो गए और उन्होंने टोक दिया है, फिर तो आपको उनसे डेफिनेटली पूछना चाहिए या एक बार रुक के सोचना चाहिए कि भाई वो पूछ क्या रहे हैं.
Okay.
I was not asking you to define the value chain of the business, or I was not asking you to define me the strategy or GTM for the business. I was clearly asking you what would be the revenue formula for the business, right?
Yeah.
Then again, coming back to that question कि मेरे को आपसे जब 10 वर्ड्स पूछने थे, वो चीज ऑलरेडी कवर हो गई है फीडबैक में डेफिनेटली. बट वही बात होती है कि 3-4 वर्ड्स तो सबको पता होते हैं, बट 10 वर्ड्स आप ऑन पॉइंट अपने बारे में 10 वर्ड्स तो यार सोच सकते हो. मतलब आई डोंट थिंक सो कि इतना मुश्किल है उसमें भी आप. मतलब इट वाज लुकिंग मोर लाइक अ फोर्स्ड प्लेसमेंट इंटरव्यू टू मी कि मेरे को अब क्या वो कस्टमर एम्पैथी बोलना है तो मैं बोल के ही जाऊंगा. मतलब इट वाज नॉट अ प्लेसमेंट इंटरव्यू यार. यू आर नॉट
Yeah.
सिटिंग फॉर अ पर्टिकुलर रोल जो आपको अलाइन करना है. दिस इज अ इंटरव्यू जिसमें we just want to know, matlab we as a panelist or any panelist for that matter just wants to know you as a
Okay.
person. And as again it was mentioned by Atna ki bhai there are different cohorts of question. If they would want to test your technical knowledge or your work ex, they will ask you question related to that. If they are asking you question related to your personality, like strengths and weaknesses are question related to your personality, they want to gauge your personality basis those questions. So उसमें फिर आपको technicalities में नहीं जाना.
Yeah.
And again I would say कि don't go into a lot of cliche कि मेरे को perfectionist था. मैंने ये पहले भी कहीं तो आपको mention करा हुआ है कि don't go into cliches that I want to become perfectionist. I find it really hard to say no. These are chat GPT output. भाई मतलब
Yeah,
you do chat GPT. These are the output it will
yeah,
give you.
true. But this is my genuine problem, and which is why I already, like, before even dwelling into the answer, I actually mentioned that it may sound cliche, but this is actually a genuine problem I have.
But if it is genuine, it should sound genuine. राइट
Okay.
अभी हम 3 लोग यहाँ पे हैं. देर इज हाई पॉसिबिलिटी कि हम तीनों जाके अपने स्ट्रेंथ्स में हार्ड वर्क बोल दें कि वन ऑफ माई स्ट्रेंथ इज दैट आई एम रियली हार्ड वर्किंग. बट उसको फिर आप एक एग्जाम्पल से बैक करो एंड दैट एग्जाम्पल विल डिफाइन द जेन्युइनिटी ऑफ योर आंसर कि
Okay.
आंसर सच में जेन्युइन है, उसमें सच में वो इम्पैक्ट है. हो सकता है कि हार्ड वर्किंग तीनों लोग बोले बट वो एग्जाम्पल से डिफरेंशिएशन आ जाएगा. राइट तो और एग्जाम्पल ना अलग अलग रखो. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए आपने एक स्ट्रेंथ बताई, एग्जाम्पल बताया, दूसरी स्ट्रेंथ बताई, देन अगेन गोइंग बैक टू दैट एग्जाम्पल, फिर तीसरी स्ट्रेंथ बताई, देन यू आर अगेन गोइंग बैक टू दैट एग्जाम्पल. हैव 3 डिफरेंट स्ट्रेंथ्स, 3 डिफरेंट एग्जाम्पल. राइट
Okay.
ठीक है. सो दिस इज मोर और लेस फ्रॉम माई साइड. एंड वो जीडीपी यार मतलब सी अगर आप सोचो मेरे को तो कुछ भी एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है, मतलब आई एम रियली नूब इन दिस थिंग. स्टिल आई वाज एबल टू डिराइव यू टू दोज वर्ड्स. मेरे को आपसे सीधा सीधा पूछना था कि मेरे को जीडीपी और वो बताओ, मेरे को रेपो रेट बताओ. पूछना मैं वही चाहता था, लेकिन मैं सीधा वो पूछता तो ये होता कि भाई मैं तो बीटेक से हूं. या पीपल माइट थिंक नो कि आई एम कमिंग फ्रॉम बीटेक बैकग्राउंड, व्हाई आर दीज क्वेश्चन कमिंग टू माय इंटरव्यू. राइट तो फर्स्टली प्लीज remove this from your mind. If you are sitting for a B school interview, you are expected to know these are very basic things. आपको basic economics, basic domain की चीजें पता होनी चाहिए. You can't just sit and say कि I am coming from a technical background so I don't know anything.
Yeah.
Right for
Yeah.
CAT also they don't expect us to prepare for a year and then attempt that exam. For
Yeah.
them it is a common aptitude test. so,
Yeah.
so whatever they ask you in the interview is very much common for them, and it is literally common for them. The professors in these top B schools, it is very common for them to
Yeah.
know random information, right?
Yes.
So when you talk about these things, मतलब आरबीआई गवर्नर कौन है, रेपो रेट, रिवर्स रेपो रेट क्या है, जीडीपी, रियल जीडीपी, नॉमिनल जीडीपी, सीएलआर, एसएलआर, ये सब चीजें बेसिक हैं इकोनॉमिक्स की, आपको पता होनी चाहिए.
Yeah. Sure.
Right and how does this work and how does this eventually impacts the economy of a country. These are economic drivers or economic KPIs, but how these impact
Yeah.
the country, right? तो भाई है मतलब this is all from my side. If I have missed anything, Archana, you can add, or like we can end this interview.
नहीं, I think we covered it all.
Right.
I think यही चीजें हैं विनायक which you need to work upon. So yes, we can move towards ending this.
ठीक है. So while ending this, firstly I would like to thank Archana to take out time, मतलब getting placed and not partying and enjoying and taking out time for us. It was really, we are really grateful for that. We are really grateful for your time. And even Vinayak also, he had his NMAT yesterday, but even though he was ready to give this particular interview today, so I would like to thank you both. And for Vinayak, I would just say keep preparing. You are on the right track and you obviously have a head start, so maximize that. Right.
Okay.
I always have told you that even if you perform average, your school can pull out a lot of colleges. But if you want to get into literally top of the colleges, then you have to max out your PI process also.
Yeah. Sure.
Right. So ending this on a thank you note only.
Yeah. Thank you both. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
bye bye.